We are creating a minor cut. First, you're going to take a little bit of spirit gum and spread it across the area that your cut will be. Then you want to let that completely dry. In the meantime, go ahead and get out your wax. A little bit goes a long way. Use the tool that it came with and scrape out just enough to make a ball a little bit bigger than a pea. Once you have enough, you're going to use your fingers to scrape it off of the metal scraper, turn it into a ball, and then you will start to roll it into a snake style tube. Once you have the tube shape, you want to kind of make sure those ends are a little bit skinnier than the center, making sure you don't have any divots or gashes in the middle. You want it to be pretty solid. Once you have that, your hand should be pretty dry with that spirit gum. Gently press it into place. Then we're going to take the metal scraper tool and pull the edges down, leaving a raised bump in the center. Right now you're just flattening it out, pulling away from the center around the entire appendage. Once you have a lot of that spread out with the metal tool, you will then warm up your fingers and use your thumb and forefinger to pull and smooth out the rest around the scar. You're using your body heat on your fingers to smooth all of this out. Don't press super hard, you will just end up making a bunch of flaky texture. So nice and smooth, keeping the very outermost edge as flat as possible and making it an even transition from the wax to your skin. This will take a little while. Take your time. Make sure that everything looks as realistic as possible before we move on to the next step. Once you're satisfied, you're going to take your metal tool and start to make a line in the very center of the raised part of the wax. This is going to create your gash or cut. I like to gently press down over and over again, kind of like a sewing machine, before I drag it through the whole line. That way you have more control over the cut that you're making. You want to make sure that you are pulling it out over the edges and then smooth out any bits that might come off as flakes. Once you do that, go over the cup again, smoothing out the area and getting it prepared for the liquid scab. Once you're satisfied, you'll pull out that liquid scab and a smaller brush, something that's going to fit inside the gash that you just made. You'll go ahead and start putting it in that gash, and you want to get it as close to perfect as possible. Now, if it gets along the outside, you can use your ring finger to slightly dab it off without pressing hard, just like that. Now that it's completely filled, you can go back in and add more liquid scab in chunks. Adding the chunks of liquid scab is going to make it look very realistic. Now keep in mind that this liquid scab can stain your skin temporarily, and it will stain your clothes, so be very aware of what you're doing while you're using it. As you can see, my hand is stained here. It does come off with the baby wipe or soap and water, but you want to be very careful in this area as to not damage the scar that you just created. Go ahead and add as much liquid scab as you like, and once you're done, take a look, take a picture, and enjoy your creation. Please make sure not to put any of this down the sink as it will clog your drains. The easiest way to remove this scab is to take your metal scraper tool and then just drag it along underneath your scab like this.